Alright, what's up guys? It's PlazmaScream, and today I want to make a video explaining defense teams and why they're important. Defense teams are the team you put up when you're not playing. After you put this team up when you're not playing, when you're inactive, when you're going about your life, playing other stuff, doing other stuff, when you're asleep, when you're AFK, whatever. And most importantly, after a big grinding session when playing multiplayer. Like you play for an hour or two, or however often you play, you're going to want a defense team after, because most likely you're going to have a lot of those players that you've just battled. They're going to try and revenge you, and you want to take advantage of that, and you want to have a proper team that is going to be so good that it can beat them when they try to fight you. And then, because of a result, you get free battle rating for doing nothing, for not even playing the game. But on top of that, because you're playing matches, you're in the matchmaking system, so other players can get matched with you when they begin a ladder, as I'll show here. Like, you play one match and you're in the matchmaking system for the rest of the season. People can then find you when they start up a ladder, and they can battle you and defeat you or lose to you. And when people are laddering, they can get matched with you, and if they lose, you get battle rating. The amount of battle rating they get is double however much you would get normally. The max amount you can get when you're playing on offense is 5,000, but on defense the max you can get is actually 10,000, and that's quite a bit. And if you get a lot of defense team wins, that can really add up. Like, the most I've ever gotten was 39 in one season. So that would end up being almost 400,000 free battle rating on top of, the battle rating I was already getting. That's so helpful. That's so appreciated. That's so nice. That's like a couple hours of grinding that I don't even need to do. That's so nice. And so I want to explain how to make a good defense team and what you would want to look for in your defense teams, like the roles in your characters that they're going to play. And I also want to explain what you don't want to do, like what you're going to see a lot and what you don't want to do. Okay. So I'm going to start by saying the best defense teams are usually going to have this guy right here. New for Shazam. He is the defense team meta right now. Like, you get him Elite 3, and it's all you're going to be using. You get him Elite 3 and you evolve him, all your defense teams are going to be involving New for Shazam. He is just the best. There's hardly any characters that really compare to him and what he can do. Nobody can do what he does. Nobody gives the kind of support to a team that he does. He is just completely unique and so unbelievably invaluable to any serious, proper defense team. And honestly, he's so good that you don't even necessarily need Justice League teammates with him to have a good defense team, because he's just so amazing. Just having him on a defense team, having him on the team automatically makes it good. Automatically makes it just that much better. Just gives you a higher chance at winning against other players. He's just amazing. Typically, you're going to see him use with Justice League teammates. Justice League Superman. What else? I like this a lot. Works pretty well. This is also really good. I have lots of such of that. He's really good. This is really good. Never tried this, but I imagine it could be okay. Usually you see Flashpoint, Aquaman, a staple on Shazam teams. This is a really, really, really solid team right here. This is an amazing defense team, one of the best. I've used Red Suns with him, Red Sun Green Lantern. Batman Ninja teammates, especially Batman, really nice. Orange Batman can kind of work. If you know what you're doing. He could probably be okay. Not sure. Flashpoint Batman. This is obviously probably the most common defense team you're gonna see. Either this or like the Flashpoint trio, but like if people have Shazam, then this is most likely what they're gonna just automatically go to every time. And it's not a bad defense team. It's pretty good, but I feel like people fight it so much that it's just probably not as dangerous as the other ones. It's very good, but I think there's better ones. I think people fight it so much they know how to beat it. More people know how to handle it. But I want to go over this team because this is probably the most popular one. Traditionally, what you're gonna see is Fourth World. You want these two gears always on Shazam. If he's in the first slot, you always want these two. Most important. If you don't have Fourth World, Shazam can get KO'd before his passive activates, and that's just ruins the whole plan. The whole operation just shut down. Don't do that. It's bad. You always want Fourth World. The third gear is a little flexible, but they always want two at the Fourth World. So, I like the Ibis stick in the third slot, and I'm going to tell you why. Most people will use this. These three. I don't like this. I think this is very passive. Because what's happening is he's going to get low HP. His passive's going to activate, and he's going to come back in later, and he's going to be unkillable for like 20 seconds. And he's just going to be throwing basics and specials and all that. And if he hits you unblocked, he's going to steal all the opponent's power. The easiest way to just handle that is by blocking. You just block. He can't steal power if he blocks. You can't steal your health. It's very little. You can't really steal your health if you just block. Like, if you just sit there and hold your two fingers on the screen and block, who cares? Who cares? Like, you just completely ignore him. Just block. Just wait and stall out his passive, and then once it's done, you just start hitting him and knock him out. Like, it's just, who cares? It's not a threat. It can kind of be scary if you get the stun right here, 25% stun chance. Then he hits you with like basics or special, and then you get the stun boost from that. That can be good, but like, it's only 25% chance. I don't see that happening very often. I think that's so niche and just not worth it. And so what I prefer to use is this. I think this is overall the best Shazam gear setup. If not that, then this. But I like this a lot. The reason I like this is because where I just explained with Necron Scythe, the way the opponent's going to try to counter that is just by blocking. You can't do that if they have Ibistic, especially if they're max crit, like mine is. Because then, Ibistic is going to be applying 10% DOT every time the opponent, every time the Shazam throws a special 1, special 2, whatever. If it's max crit, it's actually going to be 25%. Now on defense, if a character is max crit augmented, for whatever reason, they actually have 100% max crit instead of 50%. Only on defense is this true, but on defense, if a character is max crit, it's 100% crit chance, and this includes DOT damage. So every bit of that DOT from the Ibistic or whatever you're using is going to crit. So that's 25% DOT. 25% of the opponent's health every time they get hit with a special 1. Just rotted down. And even if they block it, they're going to just, it's going to eat up their HP. And because of this and this, like, that's 38% power generation. But also, Shazam gets increased power generation during his passive. You can see right here. Plus power gen when his passive is activated. I don't know exactly how much that is. I can't find out. I can't see it anywhere. But that plus these two means he's going to be throwing a lot of specials when his passive activated. And say he throws out like 2 special ones, that's automatically 50% of your health gone. Not to mention the damage that's been done from his special one, which hurts pretty bad. He's got a lot of damage on that thing, which gets even stronger because Ibisek 30% damage boost. Like, that's gonna hurt, dude. And then the DOT is just gonna rot you down, and then you can't sit there and just treat him like he's not a threat, because now he is a threat. So that's Shazam in this position, first slot. Then you're gonna see Aquaman, and it's usually just gonna be this: Astro Harness, Master's Death Cart, Tainted Totem. This is fine. I find that a lot of times they'll just be using special ones and super moves, which is sometimes okay, but like the most dangerous part of Flashpoint Aquaman is the special 2. Not that. This. Because it hits so hard, it's gonna one-shot everybody because of Batman. And this passive right here. It's gonna do so much damage and just completely smack anybody that's not just immune to crit. It's so deadly, so disgusting. But the way to handle it is just, again, block. It's not as dangerous if you just are able to block it. You can't really block a super move unless you have Astro Harness up. So if the Astro is not up, you just have to eat it. Special ones from Aquaman are actually pretty dangerous because of the crit from the Flashpoint Batman. So if he's going for a lot of special ones, that can actually hurt a lot, and they can't really defend against that unless you're like immune to DOT. So what I've seen, and I'm not exactly sure how good that is compared to this, but what I've seen is like this. I think I've also seen where is it? This, maybe this, I don't know. And that's okay. That can make his special one really dangerous. And make it really hard to like get away from, because you get hit with that special one, and then the bleed, it comes on, it's even stronger because of Quake Engine. And then if you try to tag out, it follows you, you know. Then you'll start taking DOT damage on your teammate. That's kind of scary, but like at the same time, I feel like it's not as dangerous as just using this, because he can just tag in, and if he hits special 2, then it's just gonna just wreak havoc. Like, that's probably the most dangerous part of Aquaman. So he's really good on this team as a carry. Not the most like unbeatable thing, but really, really good and really solid overall, especially because it's passive and what he does with Batman here. With Batman, what you're often going to see is this: Ninja Helmets, Killer Croc Companion Card, Gingo Soda. This just makes him invincible. Like, with the combination of this, the damage reduction for Justice League characters, plus the Water Shield from Barrier Reef, Flashpoint Aquaman, and then these 3 gears, he will be invincible versus specials with just a little bit of power, and then invincible versus basics after I think it's like a little bit under a bar of power, maybe a little bit over a bar, around there. It's not a whole lot, but like even then, when you don't have a lot of power, you still take very little damage in basics and hardly any versus specials. And it just makes Batman you can't hurt him. Basically, the only thing you can do is maybe kill him with a super move. If you have strong enough DOT, that, or shatter his gears. And that's kind of tricky because of this team. You kind of need to shatter everybody's gears here. You want to shatter that 4th world. You want to shatter that Astro Harness on Aquaman. And you want to shatter these gears. So the support on this on your team is going to really have to work overtime because all these characters have really scary gears, really hard to deal with gears. Like, this is not an unbeatable team, but it's a pretty solid overall, kind of well-rounded defense team. There are some changes you can make, like I said with Aquaman. I've seen some people do some things like actually have Ibistic on Batman, and that's fine, but I'm not sure if that works quite as best. Like in theory, yes, but when I've checked people's teams that use this, and I look at their record, it's not as good. Like, they lose more. They lose more when they deviate from the norm. They try to get like creative with their stuff here and use like other gears. I think they should just stick with this. Now, another thing you could do, if you don't have Gingo Soda, this is a really smart option, because this actually lets you counter Luchador Bane. Because one of the easiest way to beat these kind of teams is just tag in Luchador Bane on the Shazam. Well, you want to shatter his 4th world set first, or use like Flashpoint Batman to get there, so you can't resurrect. And then tag in Luchador Bane, stun, special 1, and now the whole team is just like done. Gone, doesn't matter, who cares? And then it's just like this hard team is just made to be like trivial, easy, beaten in just like a couple seconds without even trying. If you have this, Ninjato, this makes it so, at the cost of taking some more damage from basics, but this allows Luchador Bane to not be able to just steamroll this team easily. That's how you counter Luchador Bane with these kind of teams. I don't always use this. I should, but I don't always use this because I just prefer other gears when I'm fighting other teams. Because, like, yeah, Luchador Bane teams are, a little common. You're going to fight them sometimes. You're going to lose to them sometimes because you're not using this, but I don't know. It's just preference. Do you want to, counter that team, or do you want to, be good against everybody else? Like, it's just an option. But that's a good option to use. I've seen this before. I don't really like this. I don't like Claw Horse on defense. I think it's only good on a couple characters, and I don't like this on this team. Like, in theory, it makes sense, but I don't know. What else have I seen? I've seen this. Don't use this. I've seen, I think, this before. Don't use that. That's stupid. What else? I've seen this. You could do that. I think, honestly, with this setup, I think you kind of just want to just sit there and block Batman. So it wouldn't really help you to give him basic attack gears, because you can just block. And if he's blocking and not hitting attacks unblocked, he's not really going to heal a whole lot, so it's not going to help him too much. It just, you kind of got to be fighting the noobs, or people who are just not going to block a lot, or they're going to choke and end up getting their block like interrupted, in order to make gears like that work. And I don't know, it's not consistent. I don't know. This is consistent. If you use like this stuff right here, this is the standard setup. Like, I like this. I don't like to change this. This is good for this team. So that's that. That's that team. I'm gonna go over some more. Another one you'll see a lot is this. And what you'll see here is something like this. And then something like this. Although you can use Ninjato if you like. If you really hate Luchador Bane teams. But like I said earlier, your carry in these kind of teams is a lot of times going to go for like super moves. In this case, that's actually okay. Injustice through Superman is a really dangerously powerful super move. Like, if he's really strong and has high damage, like mine, that super move is going to hurt. Like, it's going to do so much damage, it might just one-shot you, even if you get the 49% cap on the damage reduction from the minigame. It might one-shot you anyway. That's terrifying. If you don't go into like an Astral user or a 4th World user, you're gonna die. You're gonna die, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's terrifying. Not to mention, if he gets a special 2 off and it hits on block, again, does so much damage, because a lot of times they're max crit, and of course the damage increase from his passive is just gonna just do a crazy amount of damage, and it's disgusting. It's so powerful. It's insane. But this team, for me at least, maybe it's because my Superman is so strong. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly if this is like a very consistent team. I feel like this team is very good on paper, but sometimes it's not the best in practice. I have not used this team very much. I mean, I've always wanted to, because I see it used all the time, and I fight it all the time, and it's really scary and hard to beat. Especially because, like, Astro and, Shazam's passive, making Superman even tankier, and then Superman's passive, and then, again, it's the thing of, like, if you have to support and you gotta shatter all these gears, everybody has, like, really crazy gears you're trying to shatter, and it's just really tough. Like, even if you're set with a good team, it's still hard to beat this team. But I don't really like it as much as other teams. But it is a good team. I'm pretty sure it's a really good team. It's easy to tell. You fight it, you play it. It's really hard to beat. It should be, in theory, a good team. But Aquaman, you actually use these gears on Aquaman instead of Batman here, and it's the same thing. You're just invincible after a little bit of power. This is actually better than Batman, because Batman, he's going to go for special 1s and such, and you can just block it, who cares. If Aquaman goes to special 1, he's going to get that bleed from the special 1, and he's going to crit. And that's actually going to hurt. So Aquaman can put in quite a amount of work. And again, if he goes to like a special 2, that's going to hurt as well, because he's going to crit. So he can get KOs a lot of the time. The tank here, Aquaman being the tank, he can actually get KOs quite a lot. He can pull a lot of weight. So he's a very solid member on Shazam teams. Of any kind, because he's just really hard to kill, and he pulls a lot of weight. He can get KOs himself. He puts in a lot of work. He's going to be one of their best options in terms of tanks on any Shazam build. Like, you could honestly use all kinds of characters, but if you have like Shazam and Aquaman, you're pretty good. You're pretty set. You'll probably do well. Like, that is a very good combination to have. And then, just pick whatever carry you want. So, there's that. What else? This is a good team that I know of. This team actually uses a unique Shazam setup. They actually use Shazam as the carry instead of the tank. That's not what I want. Just organize that a little bit. There we go. So they have Shazam as the carry. And Shazam's a pretty good carry. He can only KO one person at a time, but he's still very solid. You get Master Hornets, that makes him have a great shot at activating his passive. Even though he doesn't have Fourth World, Astro Harness is going to give him a really good shot at not dying. So he can come back later and be really scary then. And he might even not die when he comes back. And he might come back a third time, and he's going to get a lot of KOs most likely. It's very good. Very good setup for Shazam. And then here, because you have Nightwing on the team, you don't need to use Ninjato on Aquaman. So you could actually use it on Nightwing, and then you would use this right here. This is probably the overall best gear setup for Batman Ninja Nightwing on defense teams. Like, Nightwing in the first slot with these gears, you put that on your team, you set him up like that, and that makes him and your team so much better. Nightwing is just... he's arguably the best character for defense teams. If there's anybody better, it's Shazam. So they're kind of like number 1, number 2 for defense teams. They're just so good. They're so good together. They're so good on any team. Not just like Shazam teams, but Batman Ninja teams. He's just great. He's just an amazing character. I don't know what it is. He's just so good. So you have his passive with the power drain every time him as teammates tag in, which is really appreciated. Just nice overall. It's not just Batman Ninja teammates, it's like everybody. It's great. The whole like lock specials thing, it's okay. It can kind of be helpful, but like, meh, you know, it's not the craziest thing. I'll max this special one out just in case he does that. It can kind of be helpful. You know, I don't think you need to do this. Max that out. But this most important thing here is this the first thing. When a Batman Ninja ally, including Nightwing, blocks an opponent's special attack, they gain 200% power per blocked hit. That means they're going to get an enormous amount of power when they're blocking specials. Even more because of Ninjato and this bit right here, the reflect. This makes it so when he's reflecting damage, he's gaining power too. So that will actually give him even more power. And then the power generation from the Fourth World Helmet increases his power generation even more. So that plus this is going to give him just a crazy amount of power whenever he blocks a special. Especially one that has like AoE, area of effect damage, from like a passive or gear. That's going to give him even more. Because with Ninjato, he gets power from AoE damage. And a lot of times, he's going to block a special. And this is why Matt's crit. A lot of times he's going to block a special, get like 2 bars of power, and then blast him with this incredibly fast and lethal special 2 that is hard to like get a reaction on. It's so fast. It's hard to block it. He's going to hit you with it so fast, and he's going to catch you off guard. And then it's going to wipe you out. It's going to do so much damage, it's going to just KO you. And then you just got killed by a tank, dude. Like, he's just supposed to the tank on defense teams. Your best case scenario for your tank is them just taking hits, blocking hits, soaking up hits, and stalling time so that the carry can tag in and get KOs. Or like the side carry if you have one of those. We'll talk about that later. But mainly the carry. It's supposed to stall time for the carry to tag in. Bonus points if they actually manage to get KOs. Not many defense team tanks can do that. A lot of times they'll just get killed and not do anything, not really contribute anything except maybe the passive. They won't really be of any help. They'll kind of just be dead weight. And you don't want that. That is the worst thing in the world on a defense team is dead weight. You do not want that. You want a team that is going to be just everybody is pulling their weight. Everybody. Every single one. And that is going to make the best defense team for you. Everybody's getting KOs. Everybody's pulling their weight. Everybody is doing a great job. That's what you want to see. That is what you ideally want on your defense teams. And that's again like what makes Aquaman so good as a tank. He's actually really good at getting KOs too. Like he doesn't just sit there and block hits all day and do nothing. He can get KOs. Definitely. Nightwing's the same thing. Very rarely, and I'm just not meaning a lot, because he's amazing. I'm just not meaning a whole bunch. Very rarely does he not really do much on the results of a match. Very rarely does he just like get KO'd and doesn't really do much damage, doesn't really use many specials, doesn't really get any KOs. That does not happen often. That's very rare. Most of the time, more often than not, he gets like 1 to 2 KOs. And he's just a tank. He's not even the carry. That's crazy. That's insane. That's like so good. That's what you want to see. So that's a good team right there. Very solid team. Let's go over some more. This is the team I've used. Speaking of Nightwing, this is a very, very solid team. This way you'd actually use Ninjato here, and then Nightwing will be a carry in this team. Nightwing's a pretty decent carry. Not the best, but pretty good, because you have Ninjato, and again, he's a metal. So another thing I should mention, if I haven't mentioned this, metals on defense teams have much higher stats than normal. You may have noticed this when you're playing up ladders and you fight metal teams. And you see I have crazy stats. Like, how do they have high stats like this? It's because it was like I don't know if it's a bug or if it's intentional, but metals on defense they just have much higher stats than normal. I think that's something to do with like support cards. But it just gives them much higher stats than they should. So like my Nightwing has stats like this, but on defense for the opponent, he's gonna have like almost 200,000 health and like over 100,000 damage. It's like really, really good, really dangerous. And because of that, it makes the specials and his basics and the super moves just really dangerous. Like if you get hit with a metal super move and it's like a high promoted metal, that's gonna hurt. You might not even be able to live that, even if you get like 49%. That might kill you anyway. It's dangerous. That's why metals are so good on defense, because they're just so strong and they're so tanky. And sometimes you can't even defend against that. It's just, they're so just freakishly strong. So that's Nightwing as the carry. And then you should have probably just a standard Fourth World. Don't use this. This is bad. Don't do that. You want to have like Ibistic or that. That's much better. And then on Catwoman is another one of those characters that's just amazing. She, on defense, I call her the defense queen because she's just, there's nobody like her. She is like the best basic attacker on defense teams in the game by far. She is crazy. Very, very often is she getting like every single KO. Very often is she is just wiping out teams by herself. Just doesn't need any help. She's just crazy. So for her, always use Astro Harness on Catwoman. Always. Never don't use Astro on her. You might be able to get away with it if she's the carry, which is fine. You can do that. But if she's the basic attacker, please use Astro on her. Please. So here's what I'm going to talk about. You're going to be inclined to use this, the OP pill. But I'm going to explain why you don't want that. So Catwoman, let's look at what the OP pill does. You get a damage increase to your basics. You get a crit chance on your basics. You get life drain on your combo enders. And then you get power drain on combo enders. So with Catwoman, because she's a metal, she's going to have more damage. Because she's max crit, she's already going to be 100% max crit chance. Because she is a metal and she has this passive that gives her crazy high damage on her basics, she's already going to be hitting really hard in her basics. And she's going to be critting anyway. And she's going to be stealing power anyway. Like, one basic attack is going to drop all their power to 0, like that. In my opinion, you don't need the OP pill. So, what you should use instead, and I normally would not recommend this, but you should use Gauntlet to Azrael. Because you already have really powerful basics. Honestly, this is not as much of a damage increase as you think. I've done the testing. It's not really that big of a damage increase. So you can actually forego this and use something else, and you'll be okay. Because you're on defense, she's already so strong and so powerful. Like, even if you don't use this, she's still hitting for crazy damage. And you're already critting, and you're already power draining, and if you want life drain, you use this right here. And this actually gives you more life drain on top of a fat HP increase, and you heal your teammates too, which is really nice for Shazam because that makes him stick around longer. And it's nice for Nightwing too, or whatever your teammates are. That's just so appreciated. Like that, her basics are so powerful, and so as a result, the life drain you get from her basics is a lot. Like, she heals so much. So she's like healing the team while she's just slicing the opponents to bits. And then the third gear here is the Soul Taker Sword. The main thing about this is this right here, the 30% unblockable chance on basics. That is going to make it so you can't just sit there and block. You can't just sit there and block Catwoman and stall out her passive, or like stall out the tag out cooldown timer thing. None of that. None of that. You try to block against her, she will break that block and she will slice you to bits. You might think, oh, what if I have Let's Corp set? I can just use Let's Corp set. Who cares? This right here. She can steal your gears. 50% chance, which is a lot, to steal an opponent's gear per dark power bar used. So if she uses a special one, which is why I have it maxed out, there's a 50% chance she can steal your gears. And if you're using a Let's Equip set, which you should be using just 2 pieces, not 3, because that's stupid. Don't use 3. You only need 2. You only need 2 to counter power drain. You don't need 3. But if you're just using 2, and she takes one of your Let's Equip pieces, then now you can't be power drain immune anymore. And now you're screwed. You're dead. You can't counter her anymore, and you're gonna get killed. You don't want that to happen. But it's 50% chance. It's not guaranteed. It is guaranteed if she does this and she gets the special 2, but that's never happening. It's like very rare she's gonna just save 2 bars and then use the dark power after. Holy crap, people! It's very rare she's going to save 2 bars and not use the special 2 and only use it once the dark power is maxed out all the way to 2 bars, and then she goes for the dark power special 2. That's not going to happen. That's why I've not maxed that out. I don't see that happening. I feel like it's so niche and rare. But special 1s, she's going to do that a lot. So that's why I've only got 1 of these maxed, not 2. But anyway, Soul Taker Sword, you get the unblockable chance on the basics. The life drain on special 2 is pretty nice. 50% chance, but her special 2 is really powerful, so if she so much as gets the life drain on the very last attack, boom, she's full healed to 100%, just like that. Her special 2 is so powerful, that last hit is disgusting. It does almost 300k. It's crazy. Then the damage drain from when you get KOs, she will get KOs, and a lot of times she kills everybody, so every time she's getting KOs, she's getting stronger and stronger and just does more damage on everything. Her basics, specials, super moves, DOT, all of it. Just gets more dangerous and dangerous every time she gets a KO. And it's just really hard to stop her. She just keeps healing and breaking your blocks and just destroying you. She's a ferocious, amazing basic attacker, the best in the game. She's so amazing. This is a very solid team. This also has 3 medals, so all 3 of these are gonna have just crazy stats. Very high HP, very high damage. All 3 of these are very, very good. Even with just Shazam Elite 3 and Catwoman at 6, stats are a little crazy here, but this is still very good. What else here? Talk about this just for a second. This is one that came about a year or 2 years ago. It's relatively recent. You would not think this, but Godfall Superman is a really scary character on defense. And he's actually used as a carry, but the way you use him is very unorthodox. It's this right here. And what this does, Godfall Superman has a special 2, and the second to last hit will freeze you. And then the third hit is going to get boosted by Necron Scythe. And that is going to get this huge damage increase from the crit and the Necron Scythe boost. And it's just going to just completely one-shot you. This character is so dangerous because it doesn't matter if you block. You cannot defend against this. The only way you can defend against this special 2 is if you have unblockable immunity, because you have a Blackest Night Superman, or you're immune to specials because you have a bunch of damage reduction gears or passives like Flashpoint Aquaman or something like that, some kind of Justice League setup, or Red Sun Green Lanterns, something that kind of lower damage. If you're not straight up super resistant to damage, or immune to unblockables, he will kill you. He will kill you, and there's nothing you can do about it. If he gets that special 2 off on you, it does not matter. You can block all you want. He is going to freeze you, and he's going to KO you, and there's nothing you can do about it. The only way you can survive is maybe through Resurrection from Hawkgirl or Fourth World, or Necron Scythe if you have that yourself, you gotta have a whole lot of HP or a whole lot of damage reduction to survive that special 2. Like mine, for me, that last hit at Elite 7, not even like Elite 9 or 10, Elite 7, it does like 167,000 damage, which is more than enough to one-shot the amount of health characters you're gonna fight at this stat range. I really like the stats this team is at, and that's another thing I should go over. You gotta be careful with the stats you got in defense teams. You might be inclined to just max their promotions out, max their stats out, and just promote. Don't do that. Do not do that. On defense teams, promotions are very important. I'm still getting the hang of like what stats are good and what stat range like your team should be at. In my opinion, I think the team is most like reliable and consistent when you're fighting teams that would give you around 9,000 battle rating when you win, up to 10,000 battle rating if you win. You can try and like make it so you're always getting 10,000, but I think the more you promote your team and your characters, the harder players you're gonna fight, the harder like teams and opponents you're gonna face that are most likely gonna be better set up, or just most likely gonna be pretty smart, so that they're not gonna lose, or they'll be able to have the proper team or the proper knowledge to beat your team. Like they're gonna play better. They're not gonna play like an idiot. They're gonna play better and they're gonna play smart, and they're gonna have a good shot at winning. And that's not what you want. You don't want to have to fight hard teams. If you're fighting nothing but hard teams and high stat teams, you're probably not going to be winning that often, or you're winning much less often than you would if you're fighting lower stat teams. Like, I know it's kind of weird, but you kind of want to fight like noobs. You kind of want to fight lower stat teams and lower stat characters, because then they're less inclined to have like maxed out gears or max crits or like smart gear combinations, like we're talking about here. Like, you kind of want to fight players that don't really know what they're doing and fight teams that are not really well built. And you're more likely to find that when your team is not set up to be Elite 10s and Elite 7 Shazam. That's another thing. Don't max out Shazam. Do not get him Elite 7. I know you're going to want to. I know it's the biggest flex ever. Oh my god, I have an Elite 7 Shazam. This is the craziest thing in the world. This is so rare. How many people in the world have this? Not many. Don't do that, though. That's going to ruin him for defense. I see this all the time. People will have, like, some team like this, or I'll get Batman out just a minute, or this, and then it'll be like Elite 7 Shazam, Elite 10 Aquaman, Elite 10 Batman. And I'll look at the defense record and I'll see how much they lose. And it'll just be so much. It'll be like maybe they're winning 30% of the time and losing 70% of the time, with an otherwise really good team that just has been poorly promoted. And the stats have just been ruined because of the players' negligence to keep the stats at a low range. So where I have my team here, this is honestly perfect. I have Aquaman Elite 5. If he wants to be used on other teams, it's fine. He's a good tank on those teams, Elite 5. Batman is fine here, Elite 5. Shazam is fine here, Elite 3. His passive works Elite 3. He's evolved. Doesn't necessarily need to be Elite 4 or higher. I could, if I get another copy. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I could. But this right here is fine and solid. There's no real reason to promote these guys, even though I could. There's not a reason to. It would just hurt the team and make them lose more often the more I promote them, and that's not smart. I really care about my defense team's success, and I don't want to ruin that. And you don't either, if you care about that too. But now I think I talked about Shazam teams a little too much, because that's not the only defense team out there. There's a whole lot of defense teams. There's so many. It's not the only thing in the world. You can make defense teams without Shazam. You can make defense teams without metals. Although full metal teams are very good. Like, that's not a bad thing to use that. Full metal teams are very good. They're very solid. They've got very high stats. They're very dangerous. You know, like this is a very good team. This is a very good team. You know, you have a really good tank. You have Shazam. You have a pretty good carry. Merciless. He's a metal carry. I don't even talk about that much. He's just really strong, really high stats, powerful super move. Passive is decent. You know, not the best thing in the world, but it's decent. Appreciated. You know, and this, you know, this is a solid team. You have 3 medals. You know, they all have great passives, great stats. They're all pretty dangerous. But you don't need medals, although they're nice, and you don't necessarily need Shazam, although he's amazing, to make a good defense team. So I'm going to talk about one that I used to use when I was like first getting into this kind of thing. And I think I've perfected this team to make it really good. And what I do is I just use the Flashpoint trio. This is probably going to be the most common defense team you're going to fight on an Injustice. A lot of players, a lot of illegitimate accounts, hackers and such, and a lot of, you know, legitimate players. They love this team. I don't know why. Half the time it's not even geared properly, but I'm going to show you how to gear it properly. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to make this team actually really good, because this is a great team, but a lot of people just don't even know how to make it good for defense. They just throw in some random crap and it's not even good. So this is what I do for Batman. I just do Ninja Helmet plus 4th World. Unfortunately, Batman has to be the tank here. You don't have to make him the tank. You could do, like, I've used this before, like a basic attack setup. This is good. You could use this. I kind of like this better. So you could do this with Batman if you wanted to. And then I would do something like this. And you don't have to have Ibis Stick. There's a couple options. This could be okay. Combined with Water Shield and Ninja Helmet, that's pretty tanky for Death Throws, you know? So, like, if they play around your carry, and they get, like, their carry in and start using the special on you, you can survive it really well because of the Water Shield and Ninja Helmet and all the power you gain from Totem and the Master's Death card. It should make you survive. So there's that. What else? I want to say Enchanters could be good. I can't confirm that. I think it's, like, not as good as you think for defense. You might think it'd be really good, but you can play around it. It's not the crazy thing. You could do this, but Ibis Stick's better. What else? This, he's got KOs a lot, so that's not bad. This is really good. And special 2's DOT is disgusting. If it crits, oh my god, it does so much damage. You think Mortal Kombat X Scorpion has a lot of DOT damage? No. This guy's DOT is horrifying. It will rot you down to 1 HP like nobody's business. It is powerful. Very strong. But what we're probably going to do is just this right here. I kind of forgot how to gear this thing. Man, it's been so long. I think I used to, like, have Batman be the basic attacker, and then I actually had something like this. What this is gonna do with the Water Shield and these gears, when Aquaman tags in, he's going to have the water shield up, and if an opponent goes to special 1 or special 2, whatever, and he blocks it, it's actually going to make him take 0 damage. And because he took 0 damage, his water shield is not going to go down. It's still going to remain, and he's still going to be invincible versus specials as long as that water shield stays up. That's very dangerous. And Aquaman blocks a lot, so that's going to happen a lot. Unless the opponent has really good timing with the specials. So that's something you could do. That was okay for me. I used that for a while. It was okay. I really like Deathstroke as the carry, and the main reason for that is because this passive right here, when his passive activates, it's his teammates are gonna tag him, and his teammates can and will crit on their attacks. Like you see here, I have Batman and I have Aquaman max crit. When they tag in and they go for their little assist attacks on his specials because of this passive, they're gonna do so much damage. And the crazy thing is, they will crit through your block. You can block it all you want. They will crit you through your block. You can't defend it. They will crit you through your block. They will crit you through your block even if you are immune to crits. Even if you're a Red Sun Green Lantern or his teammate, even if you're Arcanite Batman and you pick the crit immune passive, it doesn't matter. They will crit you through your block. It's due to some kind of mechanic with assist attacks. Because Suicide Squad, the Joker can do this with Harley Quinn too. With Suicide Squad Harley, and he comes in for his special 2. He will do the same thing. He can crit you through your block. So you have 2 characters that you can't stop. They're just gonna blow you up with their attacks, and they're gonna do a lot of damage because of the crits, and the crits are gonna do a lot of damage because of Batman's passive. And not to mention that even if you somehow survive that, even if maybe you resurrected or I don't know, you have this right here, and the DOT from this is gonna be just so lethal, so dangerous. It is gonna just do so much damage that even if you survive his special 2, the damage over time effect from the special 2 is just gonna kill you. Which is a reason why you could use Quick Engine, because even if you try to escape from it, it'll put it on your teammate, and then he's dead because that just makes his HP just delete to 1 so fast. But I think what I've been using lately, this is a very strange setup. You would not think it'd be that good, but it's very strange, but it's pretty good. So, like I said earlier, Ninja Helmet 4th blood set. If Batman tags in and he gets his water shield from Aquaman, if he survived the first time, he's gonna get the Ninja Helmet and the water shield, and then the 4th row gears. It's gonna make him really nice, tanky, and really hard to kill. And that's gonna make him just pretty durable. Because he's a Flashpoint Batman, he's still gonna hit really hard, even if he doesn't have any offensive gears. He's still gonna be pretty dangerous because of the crits and because of his passive. So always keep that in mind. Even if a character is kind of passive, if they're gonna crit every hit and they have a strong passive, then it's gonna be fine. They're still gonna pull their weight. And then what I do here is I use something like this. This is a little crazy. I make him the basic attacker, but the gears I use on him are kind of nuts. I use something like this: Soul Taker Sword, Astro Harness, Necron Scythe. And you might think, that doesn't make sense. You don't have any basic attackers. How is it a basic attacker? Well, you have your Astro Shield up, and then you can't block his basic attacks because he's critting. I mean, he's breaking your blocks, and then he's gonna crit you after, and those crits are gonna do so much damage because of Batman. And then he's got this really dangerous and powerful and long combo ender because of his Flashpoint teammates. If he tags in first, because he's in the second slot, I don't know if you guys know this, the character in the middle slot is most likely going to be the first character that tags in when the character in the first slot right here tags out. Not always. Sometimes this one will tag in, but most of the time this one will tag in. So because of this, most likely Batman or Aquaman are not going to be KO'd yet, and they'll still be alive. And therefore, because they're still alive, the combo ender will be elongated. It'll be longer and more powerful, allowing him to have a super long, super powerful combo ender that you can't block because it's, it breaks your block. And then also, if he manages to get low health, the Astro Shield will come up. And then you get this really dangerous, lethal combination of the Astro Harness plus Necron Scythe, the Astro Scythe combo as I call it, where he's low HP and he's just stealing all of your health, stealing all of your power, getting a whole bunch of power, just a bunch of bars. And because I talked about earlier, even when he's not the carry, if he goes for that special 2 and his teammates are alive, the teammates are going to come in for the assist attack. And the teammates are going to just completely destroy the opponent even with that block. I'm going to showcase this really quick in case somebody doesn't believe me. But I'm going to show what he's going to do to people. So I'll throw some gears on. This is probably what you should use on Aquaman on this team. So this right here would be the gears for the Flashpoint trio. So I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to do a match. I'm going to show what Deathstroke's teammates are going to do. That's pretty good. We can make that Jessica Cruz our victim for this little experiment. This little showcase. Because I can only really explain this best by showing you what he does. Okay. Tag in. I'm in. I got my combo ender. Look at that damage. Gonna block. You can see I got a lot of power from blocking that too because of the water shield. Okay. Okay, see, she's blocking, right? Now watch what happens. Watch what happens there. Watch. Boom. Now watch this damage, by the way. Watch how much damage Aquaman does. 132. He might kill you through your Astro Harness. Like, he doesn't care. He does so much damage. Even at Elite 5. He might do so much damage that he just kills you in one hit, and you can't even stop him. Like, you saw. She was blocking. He was going for a special 2 that was getting blocked. It didn't matter. She just got completely obliterated. That's how dangerous this team is. If you gear it right, if you, actually know the potential for this team, this is a very powerful team, but I don't think a lot of people use this team properly. They just, just throw on basic attack gears on Deathstroke in the first slot and just usually dies pretty fast. Or then, Batman, it might be the carry, might have just whatever, maybe more basic attack gears. A lot of times Aquaman is carry, so they have that right. I should also mention that if he goes to special 1 and he gets the DOT from Ibistic and that bleed, oh man, it's going to do so much damage. But also at special 2, even if they block it, it's going to do a lot of DOT damage. Because of Batman's passive, Ibistic, instead of doing 25% of the opponent's health when critting, it's actually going to do 50%. Because it's always going to be critting, and every hit's going to crit. The DOT, just from one application, just one, 50% of their health gone. That's insane. So even if the opponent blocks, if he gets a KO and keeps going with special 2 and hits the final hit on the opponent, and you put the DOT on him, and then Tangitotem gets power refund, and he goes another special 2, they're going to be having a real hard time blocking that because of the DOT just erasing their health, and then the power off of special 2 increased by that special Ibistic even further. They're going to have a really tough time hanging on. They're going to get bullied by Aquaman. So that's an option there. Let's see what else we got. There's all kinds of defense teams. There's no like one, defense team that's like better than the others. There's all kinds. Not that. Killer Frost is pretty good on defense teams. Her passive is overall just really nice. Mine is way too high stats. Like, don't do this. Don't do what I did. You can crit on her, but don't make her stats this high. It's not necessary. It's way too high. It's bad. Because I don't use it very often because I think I kind of ruined her. Another very good team, the Blackest Night team. This one is very well known. You fight this a lot. It's usually this combination right here: Flash, Batman, Hawkgirl, or Flash, Hawkgirl, Batman. The gears in this team are very flexible. You can kind of mix them up as you wish. It's still pretty good. But generally, what you're gonna see is something like this. Fourth World. You might see 3, but I think just 2 is fine. That's all you need. Necron Scythe. That allows Flash to resurrect up to 3 times. And every time it resurrects, because it's passive, he's going to resurrect with full HP, 100% health. So once with Fourth World, twice with Hawkgirl's passive, and possibly if he gets a KO, a 3rd time with Necron Scythe. That's a lot of health. That's really hard to KO. It's really dangerous. And again, if you get the stun chance, it will make Necron Scythe really dangerous on Flash because of the boosted attack. And then generally, you're going to see Hawkgirl be the carry here. You can make Batman the carry, but I think Hawkgirl is more reliable. I think she's just more dangerous.